I have watched you in the stillness of the night, my child, when the rest of the world has fallen into a deep and heavy slumber, leaving you alone with the echoes of your own heart. I have seen you in those secret hours, the moments where the mask falls away, and you are left with nothing but the raw truth of your exhaustion. I have seen the tears that you have tried so hard to suppress, the ones that leak out when you think no one is looking, wetting your pillow with the weight of 1,000 unspoken burdens. You have been so strong for so long, carrying the weight of battles that were never meant for your shoulders alone, and I want you to know that I have been there in the room with you, catching every drop of your sorrow in my own hands. I acknowledge the weariness that has seeped into your very bones. I see the way your spirit has felt frayed, like a cord stretched to its absolute limit, yet you have refused to break. You have fought spiritual wars in the silence of your mind and the privacy of your prayer closet, standing against shadows and whispers that sought to derail the destiny I have carefully woven for your life. You have felt like a lone soldier on a battlefield where the smoke never clears, wondering if anyone truly sees the cost of your faithfulness. I see it. I have seen the toll it has taken on your joy, the way your laughter has lost some of its brightness because you are constantly on guard, waiting for the next arrow to fly. But hear me now, for I am your father and your protector, and I am stepping into the center of your struggle. This is the moment where my strength takes over where your own has reached its end. You have sensed a disturbance in your spirit, a subtle friction in your inner circle that you could not quite name. You have felt a drain on your energy, a leaking of your peace that seemed to happen whenever certain voices spoke into your life. My child, your discernment was not failing you. It was my spirit whispering to yours, preparing you for this divine intervention. I have seen the snake that has slithered into the garden of your intimacy. I have seen the one who sits at your table, smiling with their lips while their heart harbors a hidden agenda. I have seen the subtle venom being released in the form of doubt, the quiet undermining of your confidence, and the way they have sought to tether your greatness to their own limitations. You have been too kind to see it clearly, or perhaps you were too tired to confront it, but I am not weary, and I am not deceived. I am your father, and just as an earthly father would rush to remove a viper from his child's path, I am moving now to remove this threat from yours. Do not be afraid of the shifting that is about to occur. Do not cling to what I am prying loose. There are those in your life who are not equipped to go where I am taking you, and there are those who were sent by the adversary specifically to ensure you never arrive at your destination. I am severing those ties today. I am exposing the hidden motives and bringing the darkness into the blinding light of my truth. You have cried out for relief, and this removal is the beginning of your restoration. I am clearing the ground around you so that you can finally breathe without the constriction of betrayal. I am your shield, your fortress, and your very present help in times of trouble. The spiritual battles you have fought alone are over, for the captain of the host has arrived to take command. I am the one who guards your heart and preserves your soul. You have been exhausted by the effort of maintaining peace with those who are at war with your purpose. Lay down that heavy burden. You do not need to defend yourself against the snake, for I am the one who will handle its departure. I am your protector, and my love for you is a fierce and consuming fire that will burn away everything that seeks to harm you. Rest now in the assurance that I have seen your tears, I have heard your silent cries, and I am acting on your behalf this very hour. The circle is being refined, the sanctuary of your life is being cleansed, and you will walk forward in a lightness you have not known in years. Trust my hand, for it is the hand of a father who loves you beyond measure. Behold, I am the searcher of hearts and the trier of reins. My gaze penetrates the masks and the mirrors of those who walk beside you, seeing what you cannot see, and hearing the silent whispers of the soul that never reach your ears. My child, you have often wondered why a heaviness has lingered in your spirit despite your prayers and your devotion. You have felt a subtle friction, a phantom resistance that seemed to push against your every step toward the destiny I have prepared for you. I tell you today that this resistance is not of your making, nor is it a lack of my favor. It is the presence of the one who has feasted at your table while plotting against your peace. I am the God of truth, and I cannot allow a lie to remain seated in the sanctuary of your inner circle any longer. For too long, you have extended the grace of your heart to those who used it as a cloak for their own agendas. You have mistaken their proximity for loyalty and their silence for support. But I, your heavenly Father, see the heart. I see the double-mindedness that wavers between friendship and envy. I see the one who smiles at your face while their spirit recoils at the light I have placed within you. This is the snake in the grass of your kindness, the one who thrives on your generosity, but secretes a poison of doubt and division behind your back. I am removing this influence not to cause you pain, but to preserve your future. The extraction may feel sudden, and the revelation may bring a sting of shock, but understand that my hand is moved by a love that is both tender and fierce. I am pruning the vine of your life so that you may bear more fruit, and the first branch to fall must be the one that has become a highway for the enemy. You have been too merciful to those who are unmerciful to your calling. You have tried to love them into alignment, but alignment is a choice they must make, and they have chosen the path of the serpent. Do not grieve for the loss of a shadow. Do not mourn the departure of a presence that was only ever a parasite on your joy. I am sharpening your discernment in this hour. You will begin to see the subtle shifts in their countenance, the hollow ring in their words, and the coldness that they can no longer hide beneath the surface of their performance. I am making the atmosphere of your life uncomfortable for anyone who is not walking in truth. My holiness is a fire, and those who carry hidden motives cannot withstand its heat. They will either repent or they will flee, and I am telling you now, they are about to flee. You must let them go. Do not reach out to pull them back into the garden of your life. I have locked the gate behind them for your protection. The inner circle is a sacred space, a place where iron sharpens iron and where my spirit moves without hindrance. It is not a place for those who carry the seeds of betrayal. I am restoring the integrity of your foundations. I am building around you a wall of fire that no deceptive spirit can cross. You will notice a shift in your energy, a lifting of the fog that has clouded your vision. The weariness that came from constantly defending your character against invisible accusations will vanish, for I have silenced the accuser. Look forward, not backward. The void left by the snake will be filled with the presence of the dove. I am bringing into your life those whose hearts are pure, whose hands are clean, and whose spirits are knit to yours by my own design. These are the ones who will celebrate your victories without a hint of jealousy, and who will stand with you in the day of battle without a thought of retreat. You are entering a season of clarity and unhindered momentum. No longer will you have to look over your shoulder, wondering who truly stands with you. I stand with you, and I am making sure that those who are by your side are truly for you. My love is your safe harbor. Rest in the knowledge that I am your ultimate filter, your divine protector, and your faithful father. The snake is gone, and the path is clear. Walk now with your head held high, for the environment of your destiny has been purified by my hand. Even in the moments of transition, keep your eyes stayed on me. I will teach you how to handle the new spaces in your life with wisdom and grace. The strength I am giving you is not just to survive this removal, but to thrive in the aftermath. You are being prepared for a greater weight of glory, and that glory requires a circle of absolute trust. Trust me as I do this work in you and for you. The peace that passes all understanding is now standing guard at the door of your heart. No longer will the whispers of the enemy find a home in your proximity. The atmosphere of your life is being reclaimed for my presence alone. Rejoice, for the victory is already won, and the way is made straight. Your destiny is a vast landscape, a territory I have mapped out for you before the foundations of the world were laid, and it is far too precious to be stifled by the weight of betrayal. I am moving in your life with power and precision because the season of your elevation is here. This elevation is not merely a change in status, but a shift in your spiritual atmosphere, and it requires a clean environment to sustain the weight of the glory I am pouring out. You have felt the friction, the unseen resistance that seemed to push against your every move, and I am revealing to you today that the source of that resistance was the snake hidden within your inner circle. I am the great gardener of your soul, and I am pruning your garden with a father's love so that you can finally bloom without restriction. Do not view this pruning as a loss, for it is the greatest gain you could receive in this hour. When I cut away the dead branches and the parasitic vines that have wound themselves around your heart, I am releasing you from the energy of stagnation. The person I am removing was a drain on your spirit, a subtle thief of your joy, and a sower of silent doubt. They occupied a space in your life that was meant for loyalty and truth, and by removing them, I am making room for the authentic connections that will propel you toward your purpose. You are entering a level of influence and authority where you can no longer afford the luxury of a leak in your circle. The secrets I whisper to you in the secret place must be kept in a vessel that is secure. The snake sought to capitalize on your kindness, to feast on your fruit while poisoning the tree, but I have declared that enough is enough. My hand is upon you to protect the investment I have made in your life. As I move this person out of your proximity, you may feel a momentary sting of transition, a sense of grief for the relationship you thought you had, but I am asking you to trust my vision over your feelings. I see what you cannot see. I hear the conversations that happen in your absence. I know the heart that celebrates your struggle and fears your success. I am removing the snake because its venom has no place in the palace I have prepared for you. My love for you is fierce and protective, and I will not allow your future to be sabotaged by the jealousy of one who wears the mask of a friend. Look ahead, for the path is clearing, and the air is becoming thin and pure. You are being prepared for a greater weight of glory, a weight that requires a foundation of absolute trust. I am thinning your circle to thicken your resolve. I am creating a vacuum of peace where the enemy's whispers used to echo. In this new space, you will find a clarity you have never known. Your creativity will flourish, because it is no longer being suffocated by the pressure of another's expectations or the weight of their judgment. You will see clearly the doors I am opening, and you will walk through them with a confidence that is anchored in my presence. I am the ultimate filter of your life. Every person who enters your circle must pass through the scrutiny of my spirit. If I am removing someone today, it is because I have judged their presence as a hindrance to your holy calling. Do not try to hold on to what I am loosening. Do not try to mend what I have intentionally torn. There is a grace for the goodbye, and there is a glory in the let go. You have been faithful with little, and now I am making you ruler over much, but that much requires a heart that is unburdened by the toxicity of those who do not honor the call on your life. Think of the mighty cedar of Lebanon. It does not grow in the shadow of a choking vine. It stands tall, its roots drinking from the deep springs, its branches reaching for the sun. This is my vision for you. I am removing the vines that have tried to pull you down to their level of brokenness and bitterness. I am setting you in a spacious place. Feel the wind of my spirit blowing through the areas that were once cramped and crowded. This is the breath of life returning to your dreams. You have spent too much time defending yourself against the subtle accusations and the cold silences of the snake. Now, you will spend your time building the kingdom, loving the lost, and walking in the fullness of your identity. The energy of defense is being replaced by the energy of dominion. You are no longer a victim of your circle. You are the leader of your atmosphere. I am giving you a new level of discernment that will allow you to see the spirit behind the smile. You will no longer be deceived, for my wisdom will be your constant companion. The path before you is radiant, lit by the fire of my presence. Every step you take from this moment on is a step toward the manifestation of the promises I have whispered to your heart. The garden is clean. The snake is gone. The season of restricted blooming is over. Now, my child, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. The landscape of your life is beautiful to me, and I will ensure that it remains a sanctuary for my presence. Walk with your head held high, knowing that I am your shield, your protector, and your very present help in times of trouble. The removal is done. The victory is yours. Bloom without fear, for the garden is finally yours to flourish in, and your future is brighter than you have ever dared to imagine. Every prayer you have offered for clarity is being answered in this severance. Do not fear the quiet that follows their departure. In that silence, you will finally hear my voice with unmistakable clarity. You are being launched into a new dimension of grace where the old weapons no longer work. I have established your goings, and I have secured your end from your beginning. Trust the process, for I am with you always. My beloved, as the air clears from the venom of betrayal, you will notice a shift in the very atmosphere of your house. For too long, you felt as if you were walking through a desert, even when the rain was falling just beyond your reach. The enemy used the presence of the snake in your inner circle to whisper lies of lack and limitation. They were a siphon, a hidden leak in the vessels I intended to fill. When you shared your dreams, they offered a realism that was actually a shroud of doubt. When you experienced a blessing, they introduced a but that stole your gratitude. This was the spirit of scarcity at work, trying to convince you that there is not enough love, not enough favor, not enough resources for you to truly thrive. But I am the Lord your God, the one who speaks galaxies into existence, and I am telling you today that the devourer has been rebuked for your sake. Look now at your storehouses. You thought the struggle was your own fault, or a sign of the times, but it was the parasite sitting at your table. Now that they are gone, the leakage has stopped. I am pouring out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive. The famine in your spirit and your finances was artificial, a construct of the enemy to keep you small and dependent on the wrong sources. I am your source. I am the root and the rain. Watch as the projects that were stalled suddenly find momentum. Watch as the resources you thought were lost return to you sevenfold. You were never meant to live in the just enough, or the barely surviving. You are a child of the King, meant to live in the overflow. I am expanding your territory. I am opening the windows of heaven over your obedience. Do not look back at the one I removed with a sense of loss, for what I am replacing them with is the weight of my glory and the abundance of my kingdom. Your hands, which were once clenched in fear of losing what little you had, are now open to receive the vastness of my provision. I am teaching you a new vocabulary, not one of not yet or if only, but one of it is finished and more than enough. The snake is gone, and with it, the spirit of poverty and smallness that it carried. Arise, my child, and prepare for the harvest of your life. The ground beneath you is no longer cursed by the presence of a double-minded companion. It is now sanctified by my presence and ready to yield its strength to you. I am removing the ceiling that was placed over your head by the expectations of others. You have been playing small to make them feel comfortable, but those days are over. I am calling you into the deep waters where the big fish swim, where the nets break because of the weight of the catch. Do not be afraid of the magnitude of what I am doing. You were built for this. You were designed to carry my wealth and distribute my grace. The scarcity was a cage, and the door is now wide open. Walk out into the fields of my favor. Hear the sound of the abundance of rain. It is not just a drizzle. It is a downpour that will wash away every trace of the struggle you once knew. I am the one who provides the seed to the sower and bread for food. Because you have been faithful in the lean times, I am making you a steward over the fatness of the land. This is the hour of your recompense. Every hour stolen by the distraction of that snake is being returned to you as an hour of divine productivity. Every dollar that seemed to vanish through holes in your pockets is being returned as an investment in your future. I am restoring the years the locust has eaten, and the devourer can no longer touch your increase. Be bold in your asking, for my storehouses are inexhaustible. I do not run out of mercy, and I do not run out of gold. Everything in the earth is mine, and I delight in giving it to you, my heir. So, stand tall. Look out over the horizon of your life and see the provision coming from the east and the west. You are no longer restricted. You are no longer bound by the scarcity of the serpent. You are free to prosper, free to grow, and free to overflow until everyone around you knows that I am the Lord your provider. This abundance is not for you alone, but so that you may be a conduit of my blessing to a world in need. As the snake departs, it takes with it the spirit of competition and jealousy that made you feel you had to fight for your portion. There is no fighting in my kingdom, for my supply is infinite. Rest in the assurance that your portion is secure. The walls of your storehouse are expanding even as you read these words. Believe it, receive it, and walk in the fullness of your inheritance. The drought is over. The harvest is here. As the drought breaks and the rain of my favor begins to saturate every area of your life, I want you to look at the garden of your relationships with new eyes. For a long time, you have carried a subtle grief, a sense of loss that you could not quite name. You felt the sting of being left behind, the confusion of doors closing in your face by people you thought were your permanent allies. I saw the tears you shed in the secret place, wondering what you had done wrong to deserve such sudden distance. But I am here to tell you, my beloved, that you did nothing wrong. The distance was my mercy in disguise. I was performing a divine surgery on your inner circle, extracting a venom that you were not even aware was being injected into your spirit. The snake does not always attack with an open mouth. Sometimes it attacks with a slow, constricting embrace that feels like support, but is actually designed to stifle your breath and limit your movement. I saw how those around you were beginning to squeeze the life out of your dreams, making you feel small so they could feel significant. I saw the subtle ways they undermined your confidence, masking their envy as constructive criticism or concern. Because I love you too much to let your destiny be strangled in its infancy, I created a hedge of protection around you that forced them to withdraw. You interpreted their departure as abandonment, but it was actually my hand pushing them away to keep you from being poisoned by their hidden resentment. I brought you into a season of isolation not to punish you, but to preserve you. I needed you to be alone with me so that you could rediscover who you are apart from the labels and expectations others placed upon you. In that quiet wilderness, I have been rebuilding your identity, stripping away the need for man's applause and replacing it with the rock-solid assurance of my approval. I am your constant companion, the one who never sleeps and whose love never wavers. While you were looking at the empty chairs at your table, I was sitting in them, waiting for you to turn your gaze toward me. I am the friend who sticks closer than a brother, and I have used this time to prove my faithfulness to you. Now that the snake has been removed and the atmosphere has been cleared of its deception, I am beginning to bring true, holy connections to your side. These are not mere acquaintances or fair-weather friends. These are covenant relationships that I have handpicked from my own heart. These new companions will not be intimidated by your growth or envious of your provision. They will be people who carry the same DNA of the kingdom, individuals whose primary desire is to see my glory manifested through you. They will be your strength when you are weary and your joy when you celebrate. I am replacing the toxic with the transformative. I am replacing the manipulative with the monumental. You will no longer have to guard your heart against those who are supposed to be your closest allies. You will find a rest in these new relationships that you have never known before, a rest that comes from knowing you are surrounded by people of integrity who seek my face as much as you do. So, do not look back at the ones I removed with longing or regret. Do not try to reopen doors that I have locked for your safety. Those people served a purpose for a season, but they cannot go where you are going. The snake cannot survive the altitude of the mountain I am calling you to climb. The air is too thin, the light is too bright, and the truth is too sharp. As you ascend, you will find that the company I provide is perfectly suited for the journey. We are moving into a time of deep, authentic community where you will be known and loved for exactly who I created you to be. No more masks, no more hidden agendas, and no more fear of betrayal. I have cleared the way. I have sanitized your circle. I am your foundation, and I am building a house of support around you that will stand against every storm. Receive this peace today. The loneliness is over, for I am with you, and I am bringing my chosen ones to walk beside you in this land of abundance. Your heart has been tenderly cared for in the silence, and now it is ready to beat in rhythm with those who carry my heart. This is not just a change in your social circle, it is a fortification of your destiny. You were isolated for protection, but you are being reconnected for impact. Trust the process, for I am the master gardener, and I know exactly who needs to be planted next to you to help you reach the fullness of your bloom. The era of the snake is over. The era of the holy assembly has begun. My beloved child, now that you stand on the threshold of this new era, I must teach you the most vital lesson of this transition. Stop trying to manage this conflict with your own strength. You have spent many nights rehearsing arguments, planning your defense, and trying to decipher the hidden meanings behind the words of those who have sought to harm you. You have felt the heavy burden of responsibility, believing that if you do not expose the snake, no one will, or that if you do not protect your reputation with your own hands, it will be destroyed. But I tell you this day, the battle is no longer yours to fight. I have seen your weariness. I have seen the way your heart has labored under the weight of a struggle you were never meant to carry. My hand is moving against the darkness on your behalf, and my hand is swifter, surer, and more precise than any human effort could ever be. When you reach out in your own power to handle the serpent, you risk the very venom I am trying to shield you from. When you try to manipulate the situation or force a resolution, you step out from under the canopy of my divine protection and into the line of fire. I am calling you back into the sanctuary of my peace. Your only task, the only thing I require of you in this moment, is to trust me and remain still. I am the great architect of truth, and I am currently dismantling the webs of deception that have been spun around you. You do not need to explain yourself to those who have chosen not to hear you. You do not need to prove your integrity to those who are blinded by the shadow. My light is the ultimate evidence. As I move against the darkness, I am rearranging the very atmosphere of your life. I am touching hearts, revealing secrets, and shifting loyalties in ways you cannot yet see. If you try to manage the fallout, you will only complicate the divine surgery I am performing. Let go of the need to have the last word. Let go of the desire to see immediate justice. Justice is mine, and I am executing it with perfect timing. Your strength is found not in the loudness of your defense, but in the quietness of your confidence in me. The sanctuary of my peace is not a place of inactivity. It is a place of the highest spiritual authority. When you rest in me, you are signaling to the heavens that you believe in my sovereignty more than you fear the enemy's malice. This rest is your weapon. This peace is your shield. I am dealing with the roots of the bitterness that have tried to entangle you. I am removing the influence of the snake not just from your circle, but from your thoughts and your sleep. You have been looking at the problem, but I am asking you to look at the provider. My hand is even now moving against the spirits of discord and division. I am silencing the accuser. I am closing the mouths that have spoken lies. You will watch as the structures built on deception crumble under the weight of my glory, and you will not have to lift a finger to bring it about. This is the mark of my favor upon you, that I fight for you while you remain at rest. Enter into this holy stillness. Let the tension leave your shoulders and the anxiety depart from your mind. I am the one who knows the end from the beginning, and I have already secured your victory. The snake has no power in the sanctuary of my presence. As you abide here, you will find that the chaos that once overwhelmed you begins to feel distant and insignificant. You are being elevated above the fray. I am teaching you to rule in the midst of your enemies by the power of a quiet heart. Trust that I am working in the hearts of others. Trust that I am ordering your steps and clearing your path. The more you release the need to control the outcome, the more clearly you will see my hand at work. I am your advocate, your judge, and your shield. Rest now, for the Father is at work and my work is perfect. The shadows are fleeing, the truth is rising, and you are safe within my grasp. I know the depth of the ache that currently resides in your chest. I see the tears that fall when no one else is looking, and I hear the silent questions that echo through the corridors of your soul. It is one thing to face an enemy from afar, but it is another thing entirely to realize that the one who sat at your table, the one who shared your bread and heard your secrets, was the very one harboring a venomous intent. I know it hurts to see the truth about those you trusted. I do not ask you to brush this pain aside or to pretend that the betrayal does not sting. I am your Father, and I am intimately acquainted with every fracture in your heart. Even now, as the scales fall from your eyes and the reality of the deception becomes clear, I am leaning down to you. I am reaching into the places where the disappointment feels most acute, and I am pouring the oil of my spirit onto your broken heart. This oil is not a temporary relief. It is a divine substance that penetrates deep into the marrow of your being, bringing healing to the wounds you didn't even know were there. The snake sought to leave its mark on your spirit, to leave you cynical and guarded, but my oil is the antidote to that poison. It softens the hardness that betrayal tries to cultivate. It washes away the residue of the lies you were told. In the sanctuary of my love, you are allowed to weep, for I am the God who bottles every tear. But know this, your weeping is but for a night, and I am ushering in a morning where the sun of my righteousness rises with healing in its wings. Do not look at the empty chair at your table with a sense of defeat. That vacancy is a gift I have given you. It is the space I have cleared so that I might occupy it with my presence, and eventually fill it with those who carry my heart. The snake tried to steal your peace, creating a constant undercurrent of anxiety and doubt that wore away at your strength. I am restoring that peace now, not as the world gives, but as a sovereign inheritance that cannot be shaken by the shifting shadows of human loyalty. I am also the God of the harvest, and I have seen the years that the locusts have eaten, those seasons where your energy was drained by the hidden agendas of the one I am removing. You may feel as though you have wasted your life, your resources, and your love on someone who was never worthy of the sacrifice. But I tell you, nothing is ever truly lost in my kingdom. I am the great restorer. I will restore the years the snake tried to consume. I will multiply your fruitfulness in this new season so significantly that the memory of the lean years will fade into insignificance. The time you thought was wasted was actually a time of refining, where I was building in you a discernment that will serve you for the rest of your days. You are coming out of this not weaker, but wiser. You are emerging not broken, but fortified. The peace the snake tried to steal is being returned to you tenfold, settled and deep, like a river that cannot be diverted. I am mending the tapestry of your life, weaving in threads of gold where the tears once were. You will look back on this moment and see it not as the day you were betrayed, but as the day you were set free. I am making all things new within you. I am clearing the debris of the past to make room for the glory of the future. The weight you have been carrying, the heavy burden of trying to sustain a connection that was never meant to be, is being lifted from your shoulders. Feel the lightness returning to your step. Feel the clarity returning to your vision. I am your shield, and I have blocked the final strike of the serpent. You are safe. You are loved. You are being restored. Trust the process of my healing, for I am a gentle physician and a faithful father. I will not leave a single scar unkissed by my grace. Your heart is being made whole, more resilient and more radiant than it was before the trial began. Rest in the knowledge that my restoration is complete, reaching back into your past to heal and forward into your future to provide. The snake is gone, and in its place, I am pouring out a double portion of my spirit and my peace. My child, do not let your heart be troubled by the echoes of the storm that is now passing. Even as the silence settles into the spaces where there was once chaos, I know the questions that still ripple through your mind like waves after a great stone has been cast into the sea. The enemy is a master of the what-if. He whispers into the void of your transition, trying to convince you that the peace I have given you is fragile, or that the removal of the serpent has left you vulnerable and exposed. He plants seeds of doubt in the fertile soil of your healing. What if you cannot survive without their validation? What if their accusations were actually true? What if the future is darker and lonelier than the past you just escaped? These are not prophecies, my beloved. They are the desperate, dying gasps of a defeated foe who has lost his grip on your destiny. I am here to silence those voices once and for all. I am the great I Am, the one who stands outside the constraints of time, and I tell you that the storm in your mind must bow to the authority of my word. I am speaking peace, be still over the churning waters of your thoughts. Can you hear it? Underneath the roar of your lingering anxiety, there is a steady, rhythmic pulse of my love beating for you. It is a drumbeat of victory, a cadence of grace that no lie can ever drown out. I am asking you to participate in your own liberation now. Breathe in my grace. Take a deep, intentional breath of my favor. Let it fill your lungs and expand your spirit until the weight on your chest dissolves. Feel this grace saturating every fiber of your being, washing away the toxic residue of the serpent's influence. Now, exhale the fear. Release the tension you have held in your shoulders and the tightness in your heart. Let out the what-ifs, as if they were smoke being carried away by a divine, cleansing wind. For I have already secured your tomorrow. I have walked the paths you have yet to tread, and I have smoothed the rough places before your feet even touch the ground. I have placed my angels at every crossroad of your future to guard your steps and protect your path. You do not need to figure out the next 10 years today. You are not the architect of your own salvation. You only need to trust that I am the master builder. The snake tried to poison your perception of what is to come, making it look like a barren wilderness of rejection, but I am showing you that it is a lush garden of opportunity, prepared specifically for your flourishing. Your tomorrow is not a mystery to me. It is a masterpiece I am currently unveiling in the light of my love. Every what if that haunts you is swallowed up in my I will. I will sustain you when you feel weak. I will provide for you when resources seem scarce. I will lead you beside quiet waters when the world is loud. The vacancy left by those I have removed from your inner circle is not an empty, aching hole. It is a holy, consecrated space I am filling with my very presence. You are not alone in this new quiet. You are finally able to hear my voice without the static of manipulation and the noise of double-mindedness. This is the hour of your mental liberation. No longer will you be a prisoner to the possibilities of disaster or the fear of being forsaken. Instead, you will be a pioneer of my promises, exploring the depths of a peace that surpasses all understanding. Rest your weary mind in the cradle of my sovereignty. I have secured your reputation, I have secured your heart, and I have secured the legacy I am building through you. The serpent's venom has no power over the blood I have shed for you, and its hiss cannot compete with the roar of the Lion of Judah. You are rising, stronger, clearer, and more resolute than ever before. Walk into the light of this new day, for the shadows of doubt have been incinerated by the brilliance of my glory. The what-ifs are dead, and my yes and amen is your new reality. You are safe. You are sound. You are eternally mine. And because you are mine, I am now granting you the gift of sight, true sight, untainted by the smog of deception that once clouded your periphery. For too long, you have walked with a veil over your heart, a veil woven from the threads of another's manipulation. You were looking through a lens that was cracked and distorted by the presence of the one I have now removed. But today, the atmosphere is clearing. The heavy mist that made every step feel like a gamble is evaporating in the warmth of my presence. I am touching your spiritual eyes, child, and I am saying, Ephatha, be opened. You are entering a season where your discernment will no longer be a source of confusion, but a compass of absolute certainty. The scales are falling, and for the first time in a long time, you are going to see the world as I see it. You are going to see yourself as I see you. Look around you now. Where you once saw impenetrable walls, I am showing you that those barriers were merely shadows cast by the enemy to keep you from your inheritance. The deceiver wanted you to believe you were trapped, hemmed in by impossible circumstances and dead-end roads. He whispered that the doors were locked and the keys were lost. But now that he is gone, the illusion has shattered. Those walls are transforming into gateways. Those dead ends are revealing themselves as hidden paths to higher ground. You will see opportunities in the very places where you once felt most defeated. I am giving you a strategic vision that pierces through the surface of things. You will look at a problem and see the solution before the world even recognizes the challenge. You will look at a desert and see the blueprint for an oasis. This is the clarity of the kingdom, and it is your new normal. I want you to turn your gaze inward, for I am giving you a fresh perspective on the greatness I have deposited within your soul. The snake sought to keep you small, feeding you a diet of inadequacy and false humility. He wanted you to believe that the treasures I placed in you were merely burdens or flaws. But I tell you, that which the enemy mocked is the very thing I am about to use to shift your destiny. There is a reservoir of power, creativity, and wisdom inside of you that has been dammed up by the presence of the one who feared your awakening. As I remove the deceiver, I am breaking the dam. You will begin to feel the surge of my spirit moving through your gifts with a new intensity. You are not a mistake, and you are not a shadow of who you used to be. You are a vessel of my glory, meticulously crafted for such a time as this. Do not be surprised if you suddenly find yourself overflowing with ideas that seem too big for your current surroundings. That is the sight of greatness stretching its wings. I am expanding your capacity to perceive the more that I have for you. You have been living in a cabin when I have built you for a kingdom. You have been fishing in a pond when I have called you to the deep oceans. With the static of manipulation gone, you can finally hear the heartbeat of your true purpose. You will no longer measure your worth by the crumbs of approval from those who sought to control you. Instead, you will measure your potential by the infinity of my grace. You are realizing that the only thing that was truly holding you back was the proximity of a lie. Now that the lie is removed, the truth is setting you free to soar. This new perspective will change how you walk, how you talk, and how you dream. You will no longer approach me with the timidity of a servant who fears the whip, but with the confidence of a child who knows the father owns the estate. Every no you encountered in the past season was often just a not yet or a not through this person. Now, I am showing you the yes that has been waiting behind the curtain of this transition. See the people I am bringing into your life. They are not like the one I removed. They are catalysts for your vision, not anchors for your soul. See the assignments I am placing before you. They are not weights to crush you, but platforms to elevate you. Your eyes are open, your heart is clear, and your path is illuminated by the brilliance of my favor. Walk forward, my beloved, for the landscape of your life has changed, and the view from here is magnificent. As you step into this new landscape, I am doing a deeper work within the very fabric of your perception. I am sharpening your intuition until it is as keen as a master's blade. For too long, you relied on the outward appearance, on the polished words and the calculated gestures of those around you. You looked at the sheep's clothing and assumed the heart within matched the wool. But I am moving you beyond the surface. I am tuning your spiritual ears to hear the frequency of truth and the dissonance of deception. From this day forward, you will not need to wait for a betrayal to know who stands before you. You will sense the wolf while it is still miles away. This intuition is not born of suspicion or a spirit of fear, for fear is a clouded lens that distorts reality. No, this is the clarity of my spirit dwelling within you. It is a quiet, steady knowing that bubbles up from your belly, a yes that brings peace or a no that brings a subtle, divine friction. Trust that friction. It is my hand guiding you away from the pit. When someone speaks words of flattery that do not align with the weight of their spirit, you will feel the disconnect. When a plan is presented that seems perfect on paper but lacks the breath of my life, your spirit will recoil. This is my gift to you, a safeguard for the destiny I have prepared. You will walk in a wisdom that surpasses human understanding. This wisdom is not just for the big decisions, the contracts, and the covenants. It is for the daily rhythms of your life. It will tell you when to speak and when to keep silent, when to open your heart, and when to set a boundary. I am removing the blinders that made you vulnerable to the snake's charm. You were never meant to be a victim of another's agenda. You are a co-heir to my kingdom, and the king's children walk with their heads high and their eyes wide open. No weapon formed against your spirit shall prosper, because you will see the weapon being forged and move out of its trajectory before it is even drawn. You are becoming untouchable to the subtle strikes of the enemy. The snake thrives in the dark, in the unspoken, and in the shadows of your doubt. But I have flooded your inner circle with the light of my presence. In this light, the wolf cannot hide. Its disguise will feel heavy, its movements clumsy, and its intentions will be as transparent as glass to your sharpened gaze. You will find yourself looking at people you once trusted and seeing them with a startling clarity, not with hatred, but with a sober recognition of their fruit. Do not ignore what I am showing you. Do not try to talk yourself out of the discernment I am pouring into you. In the past, you leaned on your own understanding and found yourself wounded. Now, lean on my spirit. This sharpening is a kindness, a protective layer of my love wrapped around your soul. You will walk through crowds and know where the peace resides. You will enter rooms and sense where the discord is hidden. This is the authority of the wise. As you grow in this, you will realize that my protection is not just about keeping people away, but about drawing the right ones near. Because your intuition is sharp, you will recognize the genuine hearts, the ones who carry my fragrance. You will gravitate toward the builders, the healers, and the truth-tellers. Your life will become a sanctuary where only the authentic can remain. The noise of the world is loud, but my whisper in your spirit will be louder. It will be the compass that never fails, the anchor that never slips. You are no longer the one who is easily deceived. You are the one who walks in the light, discerning the times, the seasons, and the spirits. This is your inheritance, a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind, a mind so sharp it cuts through the illusions of the enemy like a hot flame through wax. Rest in this new strength. I am teaching you to read the atmosphere, to understand the motives that lie beneath the surface of a smile. This is not a burden of vigilance, but a rest in my sovereignty. You no longer have to worry about who is against you, because I have given you the eyes to see them before they can even position themselves. The peace I give you is not the absence of wolves, but the presence of my wisdom in the midst of them. You will sit at tables and know exactly what is being served, both in the natural and the spiritual. You will walk into negotiations and hear the thoughts of the heart. This is how my children thrive in a world of shadows. I am placing a mantle of discernment upon your shoulders that will change the trajectory of your lineage. No longer will your house be a place where the snake can find a nest. Your discernment will protect your children, your work, and your peace. Every step you take from this moment on is paved with the gold of divine insight. Walk boldly, my child, for your internal navigation is now perfectly aligned with the heartbeat of heaven. You are seeing as I see, feeling as I feel, and knowing as I know. This is the end of the season of blindness. This is the dawn of your true spiritual sight. I have removed the poison, and now I am refining the vessel. You are ready. Now that the vessel is prepared and the atmosphere has been cleansed, watch as I pour into you until you overflow. You have known the ache of the desert, the stinging sand of betrayal, and the hollow echo of promises that never came to pass. For so long, you walked through a landscape of dryness, believing that the lack was your portion or that my hand had been shortened. But I tell you now, the dryness was not a sign of my absence. It was the result of a hidden drainage. The snake I have removed from your circle was not just a companion of shadow. It was a thief of your spiritual irrigation. It sat at the source of your supply, drinking the water meant for your growth, leaving you with only enough to survive but never enough to thrive. But the thief has been evicted, and the source is now unblocked. I am opening the floodgates of heaven over the precise areas where you felt most abandoned by hope. Where you expected more cracked earth and empty cisterns, I am bringing springs of water that bubble up from the depths of my sovereignty. This is not a temporary rain that will soon vanish. These are eternal springs that I am surfacing within your soul and your circumstances. Prepare yourself, for you are about to encounter the unexpected. The miracles that are coming are not strained efforts of your faith, but the natural, effortless byproduct of your new alignment with my will. When the vessel is clean and the circle is pure, the miraculous becomes the standard environment. You will find that things which once required years of struggle will now manifest in moments of stillness. I am bringing a rhythm of grace to your life that will make the world marvel. They will look at your garden and ask how it blooms so vividly in the middle of a global drought. You will tell them that the master gardener has cleared the weeds and unstopped the wells. Every area of your life that was touched by the snake's venom is now being bathed in the living water of my spirit. This water carries healing for your memories, strength for your bones, and a divine clarity for your vision. You are no longer navigating by the dim light of survival. You are swimming in the vast ocean of my favor. I am bringing forth rivers in the high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. This is the transformation that follows the purge. You had to lose the snake to gain the spring. You had to endure the surgery of separation to enjoy the saturation of my presence. Do not look back at the desert with longing or regret for what was removed. The things I took away were the very things that were keeping you thirsty. Now, your cup will run over. Expect breakthroughs in your finances that defy logic. Expect healings in your body that baffle the experts. Expect a restoration of joy so profound that the years of sorrow will seem like a distant dream. This is your season of refreshing. The heat of the trial has passed, and the cool of my evening breeze has arrived to walk with you. I am turning your mourning into dancing, and your thirst into a song of praise. You are now a conduit of my life-giving power. Because your inner circle is now a sanctuary of my presence, the water will flow out from you to touch everyone you meet. You will become a source of life for the weary and a wellspring of wisdom for the lost. This is why the purge was necessary, so that the water I give you would remain pure, untainted by the influence of the enemy. Drink deeply, my child. The drought is over, the springs are here, and I am just beginning to show you the depths of my abundance. You will look back at the scorched earth of your past and see it not as a place of death, but as the ground where the most beautiful lilies of my grace were prepared to bloom. My love is the water, and my truth is the source. Walk boldly into this saturated future, for the springs will never run dry. Even as you stand in the refreshing flow of these new springs, I want you to lean your head against my heart and hear its steady, unchanging rhythm. The purge of your inner circle was never about your performance or your ability to detect the enemy on your own. It was about my sovereign devotion to you. I have watched you carry the heavy weight of self-doubt, wondering if the presence of the deceiver in your life was somehow a reflection of your own failings. Hear me now, my beloved. The snake did not enter because you were weak, but because the enemy feared your light. Yet, more important than the removal of the threat is the reason behind it. I did not rescue you because you earned my intervention through prayer, or because you reached a certain level of spiritual maturity. I rescued you because you are mine. This protection is your birthright. It is the natural, inevitable consequence of our bond. When a father sees a predator near his child, he does not wait for the child to prove their worthiness before he moves to defend them. He moves because his very nature demands it. I am your father, and you are the apple of my eye. There is no shadow you can stumble into that could ever hide you from my gaze, and no mistake you can commit that could ever cause me to withdraw my hand. The snake whispered that you were only as safe as you were perfect, but that was the greatest lie of all. Your safety is anchored in my perfection, not yours. Nothing you have done in the moments of your greatest wandering, and nothing you will do in the years to come, possesses the power to separate you from my love. It is a love that predates the stars and will outlast the fire of the sun. It is a covenant written in the permanent ink of my spirit. You can rest in the absolute certainty that you are cherished beyond measure. This circle I have cleared around you is now a hallowed ground where your soul can finally stop performing. You do not have to earn the right to be protected by me. You do not have to qualify for my grace. You were born into this light the moment you became mine, and that inheritance can never be revoked. The enemy tried to make you feel like a guest in my house, someone who had to mind their manners and work for their keep, lest they be cast out. But I tell you, you are not a guest. You are an heir. Everything I have is yours, and my protective presence is the wall that surrounds your inheritance. As you walk forward into this season of abundance, Let the fear of being not enough fall away like dead leaves. The springs of life I have opened for you are not a reward for your survival, but a gift for your growth. When you look at the empty spaces where the snake once sat, do not see them as voids. See them as the room I have made for my glory to dwell. You are secure because I am faithful. You are protected because I am strong. You are loved because I am love. This is the foundation that cannot be shaken. Even when you feel your own faith wavering, my faithfulness remains as solid as the ancient mountains. I have sealed you with my own name, and no power in heaven, on earth, or under the earth can break that seal. This is your reality now, a life lived under the shadow of my wings, not because you are perfect, but because you are my child. Rest in this truth. Let it settle into your bones and quiet the last echoes of the enemy's accusations. You are home, you are safe, and you are eternally mine. The silence that follows the departure of a deceiver is not a void. It is the holy hush of a sanctuary being rededicated to its true purpose. Now that the air has been cleared of the venomous whispers that sought to distort my image in your eyes, you can finally hear the cadence of my heart beating for you. Look around you with eyes that are no longer clouded by the smoke of manipulation. The horizon is wide, the barriers have been dismantled, and the ground beneath your feet is holy. The snake is not just gone, its very influence is being scrubbed from the corners of your soul. I am washing away the residue of every lie that told you that you were small, that you were trapped, or that you were unworthy of the heights I have called you to scale. Take my hand now. Do not hesitate at the threshold of this new chapter. There is no longer a hidden predator waiting in the tall grass of your future. I have swept the field. I have secured the perimeter. I am your vanguard and your rear guard, and in this newfound clarity, the path I have prepared for you shines with a light that no shadow can extinguish. Step out with me. Every stride you take today is a declaration of your freedom. This is not a tentative walk through a minefield, but a victory march through a garden I have planted specifically for your joy. I am restoring the years that the vipers have stolen, the energy they drained, and the hope they tried to stifle. I am breathing my very life into the dreams you thought had died in the cold winter of betrayal. In this moment, I release a final blessing of peace over you, a peace that transcends human understanding, a peace that stands as a sentinel at the door of your heart. Let it settle deep within you, anchoring you against the trivial storms of the world. This peace is your inheritance, a stillness that comes from knowing the battle is won and the enemy is evicted. But I do not stop at peace. I am also endowing you with power. This is not the power of the world, which seeks to dominate and destroy, but the power of my spirit, which brings life, healing, and restoration. I am placing a new mantle upon your shoulders, one woven from the threads of resilience and divine authority. You will speak, and your words will carry the weight of my kingdom. You will act, and your hands will manifest my grace. You will walk into rooms, and the atmosphere will shift because the King of Glory dwells within you. You are no longer a victim of the shadows. You are a carrier of the light. Hear me clearly. I am speaking prosperity over your life today. This is the prosperity of a soul that has been pruned and is now ready to burst into bloom. It is the abundance of a life aligned with truth. Your relationships will now flourish in the soil of sincerity and mutual honor. Your mind will thrive in the light of revelation, free from the mental exhaustion of second-guessing and doubt. Your physical strength will be renewed, for the stress of the hidden enemy has been lifted from your bones. I am opening the storehouses of heaven to pour out favor that you cannot contain. You are entering a season of supernatural fruitfulness, where the seeds you sowed in tears, under the watchful eye of the deceiver, will now be harvested with shouts of joy in the presence of my angels. The gates are open. The sky is bright. The invitation is eternal. Walk with me into the fullness of all I have promised, for the old things have passed away, and behold, I am making all things new. You are no longer defined by who deceived you. You are defined by the one who has stayed. I have cleared the inner circle of your life so that I might occupy the center of it. There is no more room for the snake when my glory fills the house. Go forth in this confidence. Go forth in this love. Your journey has only just begun, and the path ahead is paved with the gold of my faithfulness. You are free, you are empowered, and you are exceedingly blessed. Step forward, my child, for the world is waiting to see the glory I have placed within you.